All right, welcome back. Another episode. What's this? 73 or something like that?
80.
80. Yeah. Getting up there. Getting up there in age and that's kind of on the topic that I wanted to talk about, and it's something I wanted to point out is I think the reason we have so many haters is everyone who listens is so old. Me and you and Drew are really the only youthful ones of the group left. Um,
Yep.
they just they
Everybody's
just they
deep
must not
into their 30s.
understand the hip lingo we use because of their geriatric vocabulary.
Being a young, relatively single man in his 20s, you know.
That is, I'd like to know what definition of relative you're using.
Completely married and haven't known the touch of another woman in 11 years.
I like it. That's a great definition you're using.
Nor do I want to
Yeah, so
clarify.
I think we might need to start a new group chat or something. Um, the youthful bachelors of the group. I know we're approaching, but it's just such a different mind state, over 30 years old. I mean, could you imagine?
It's disgusting. It's a sickening thought. I won't imagine it until it's here in about 4 years.
Yeah, about four. Uh, Last I checked, I'm about 26 in number, but age is but a number. I feel as youthful as ever. Um, but on this topic, I kind of wanted to talk. I think this was Drew's old sandwich boys, that fat son bitch's suggestion. He wanted us to talk about some of our best or funniest memories of our 20s. And I was thinking about some, and a lot of them are probably before the 20s, probably teens. Um, just because we spent so much time together in the college era. I left for the army in I was 24. So a lot of the memories I have in our 20s is like coming back and doing like the CB nights or over Christmas when we do our little Secret Santa that everyone in the group loves so much. Um,
A very important event every year that everybody takes very seriously.
well, we should. You guys are pieces of shit for not taking that seriously. It's a bonding time for us.
I like it.
All right. I'll let you organize it next year.
I don't like it that much.
So some of the things that I was thinking about first are like obviously weddings. Weddings are always a fun time and they're definitely very memorable and times we all get to come together. What are you doing with your hair? Are you
Just
trying out
trying
a
some,
middle part?
just trying out some new stuff.
Trying out some new styles? What's not working? Um, I missed Wes's, Andrew's, and Tingo's wedding. Um, but I
I
do
can
have
give
some
you
good
a,
memories. Yeah,
I
let's
can
get
give you
let's
a
do a
little
synopsis.
little breakdown of each. I'll go chronologically. Tingo's wedding. It was at this place downtown called like the Warehouse on Water Street or something. Um, it's right next to Michael's on the waterfront. Nice service. Um, his best man was his little brother, who was like fucking 9 at the time or some shit. Um,
Easy way
good
out.
time. Yeah, easy way out. Easy way out. Bitch move. Should have picked. Really, I'm disappointed. I'm not a 5-time best man, but what can you do? Um,
You're a little greedy.
Good time. I got obliterated at that one.
Nice.
Um,
As you should, naturally.
I remember there was a little uh, who's got the ring situation.
Ooh,
Um, and I'm either us or the girls rode a trolley there from the hotel.
okay. So you guys like stayed downtown?
We were gonna, but our room didn't have AC, so a lot of us stayed at home.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So then Wes's, then Drew's, correct? Chronologically?
Yeah, Wes's. Thing I remember most about Wes's was probably the night before the rehearsal dinner when me, Mike, and Tingo were like talking about like politics or something, and then I was drunk, so I was like crying, saying I loved everybody. And then I continued to get more drunk, and we went back to Wes's house, threw up all over his front porch. Like I
Nice.
never even made it inside. And then somebody, I'm not gonna name drop, took me back to my car, and I drove home.
Ooh, little designated drunk driver, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that was probably the worst one ever for me. Wedding was good, good music, lots of dancing. Another one where I was passed up for best man, but whatever. Drew's wedding, I did not get passed up for best man. Drew did the right thing and picked the goat.
Literally the
Great,
goat.
great service. That was at Wes's wedding was at Pine Valley Country Club, and this one was at I think it's called Wrightsville Manor.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Very nice place. Um,
Sammy actually went to that in my stead, so at least we had some support from the Ellers.
Sammy videotaped my speech, and I still have it. So,
Oh, nice.
which was
I'm
a
glad.
very good speech.
I think you probably got picked as best man for that one just out of, they know you have a little bit of depressive issues, so probably just didn't want you to kill yourself.
Still might,
Still might.
still
Don't
time.
don't cross that off yet. Um,
Um, yeah, that was a great one. Lots of dancing. The funny thing at that one, we did like so the lead up to it, like one groomsman, one bridesmaid, they would come out when they were announcing the party and do like a little dance. And me and Jordan Thompson were first after the. I actually think we were first because I think the bride and the groom came last. And we did like this thing where I was supposed to like pump her up, like an air pump, and nobody knew what we were doing. It just looked like I was humping the air. So that was good.
that's classic. We did the
Yeah.
same type deal for your wedding, where it was like the groomsmen and bridesmaids all got introduced. We like went out and did a little dance. I think I went with Rachel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she threw you a bouquet.
She threw me something and I caught it naturally because,
Of course,
hands, of course.
obviously.
Obviously, that is always fun. It takes a little bit more coordination. Um, I wish we would have planned something a little more than 5 minutes before we went out there, but kind of makes it fun, a little improv.
There were a couple of issues at our wedding with planning, as in not bustling Marissa's dress and then fucking up our first dance, but whatever. I'm not upset about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean everything happens for a reason. But obviously weddings are super memorable. One thing I remembered that I wrote down is um this is not a friend group wedding, but it's my mom's wedding on New Year's Eve and me and you wrestling in the pouring down rain.
How'd that go?
You won. You got the best of me. Um, I let
See,
my guard down towards the end. I think it was a stalemate, and then I let my guard down. Obviously, I was done, and then you just came after.
well, the only part of the video we have is me on top of you choking you out. So, that's how I'll choose to remember that forever.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was you too.
The reason I beat the shit out of you is because you aren't used to, getting after it in the mud. And honestly, I think that's why you joined the army so you could experience hardship. I got it out the mud and I put you in the mud and I put the clamps on you. I put the Kawais on you.
Yeah, you did. I'm gonna blame that on. I think I was wearing jean shorts, so I'm gonna blame that on a lack of mobility.
You were wearing jean shorts.
I was definitely. That was fun. Um, that was fun. And then obviously bachelor parties are also a big key moment in the history of the friend group. Again, I missed Wes's and Drew's, so I can't speak on those tons, but I did go to yours and Tyler's and obviously mine.
Tingos.
Um, Tingo's. Uh, Tingo's is uh, Tingo's is very memorable, and I think has one of the most memorable moments. And is when
I'm
you're
gonna
punching Wes in the kidneys, and he's
Wes was
squealing.
Wes was showing that video at work the other day.
He's
Uh,
squealing like a, I don't even know what animal. I'd say a pig, but there's no way pigs can make that noise.
and then he kicked me through the closet door, which
Yeah.
broke it. I
Yeah,
think we fixed it though. Had to have.
probably. We tend to break things on bachelor parties. My bachelor party, Todd slammed Nick on the bed that Drew slept in, shattered.
My bachelor party broke everybody's wallets.
Yes.
Thing I do remember about Tingo's, which I'm not sure everybody knows, I went to the office to, I think, try and get another parking pass. And I told them, hey, we're staying in an Airbnb. Can we get another parking pass? And then they said, what unit are you guys staying in? Because Airbnbs are not allowed.
Yeah, I do remember that actually.
And then I was like, said some bullshit and then walked out. I never told
Oh,
them that.
sorry, wrong apartment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Um,
I was gonna say the most memorable part of Tingo's was when we were at Applebee's and Drew took a bite of that burger with the egg on it, got egg all over his shirt.
yeah, no, that was good stuff too. Oh man. Another memory that popped up, not wedding or bachelor party specific, was John's Jeff Gordon year at Clear Run.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Jeff Gordon year, right? It was the
24.
24 because he was trying to take 24 shots.
He
How
did.
many did he get to
No,
24?
no, he did, yeah.
God.
Because
Yeah,
when he said he was at like six, because he'd be bullshitting.
right.
I
He started
started
counting.
counting and at the minimum, it was 18 shots.
You're right.
But I
Oh
think he
man.
really did it.
Thankfully, I was not in the Uber with him um when he ended up going downtown. But he was messed up, and that's a big man to be messed up like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he puked all in the Uber, and Jesse had to pay like $200.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. I just remember him just that blank stare.
I remember from that night that we ran out of liquor and he was doing shots of that beef eater gin that we had on top of Allie's cabinet.
Oh God, not Beefeater.
Yeah.
That no, none of us actually drank gin. So I'm wondering where that actually came from. Did we just buy it because we like the name Beefeater? We're like, yeah, Beefeater sounds sick. Let's buy this and never drink it.
I actually think there was a little spell where we were drinking Bombay.
We were drinking, I think that was Wiz Khalifa time because he was talking about gin and juice.
Yeah.
So we got some Bombay and mixed it with lemonade. It always sucked. It was not good.
Gin's not very good.
No.
It's too dry.
Um, it's too dry. Yeah, and then another memory that kind of popped up, and it's more so like me, you, and Wes. Maybe me and you more specific, but when we first moved to Clear Run and we were going to Cape Fear, Drew definitely did this a couple times with us too. Um, we would go to UNCW's rec center and we would just stand outside and wait for a random person and be like, "Hey man, can you sponsor me?" And it was always so awkward.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sparked your anxiety episode is that moment.
Oh my God, no.
I think that's when it originated. I think that
Great,
sheer just
great call right there. Because one of my, I think, well, we were 21 because we were drinking. Um, Me and Drew, my first concert, the Throne Theater, which is now Coglin's.
mhm.
We saw Chrysalis, Nine Shrines, Non-Point, and Hinder. And those were just the first two were just openers who or whatever, but I remember them.
Yeah.
We got a perfect spot up top. We were doing Jolly Rancher shots all night. I've never had one since. Thing I remember about that is they wouldn't let me in because I had my bottle of pills in my pocket, and it had been in my pocket so long there was no name on it. So they were like, "We have to take this," and I was like, "Absolutely not. I need those." They're like, "Well, you can't come in." So I went outside and dug a little hole and buried him under a bush. and then got them afterwards.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you can hear that, but Sammy picked a very inconvenient time to vacuum, but I think she's done for right now. Um but yeah, that was prime I need my pills, Tyler. Prime pillar right there. But I think having to go stand outside UNCW and that sheer embarrassment of having to ask a random person and more often than not be turned down and be like, yeah, no. Uh that sparked the anxiety episode.
I
I'm a
mean, it was
doctor.
it was moving out that sparked it because it didn't happen until I lived alone. I wasn't alone, obviously, but
Right, right. Um,
another memory I have, nothing like party or crazy related. Me and Corey going to see a movie called The Creator, and we were at one of the last showings ever at the Carmike Theater.
okay, interesting. I always forget about that movie theater.
Yeah, I mean it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't
Speaking
even
of
know if it was
movie
that.
theaters, when was the last time you went to that movie theater in Carolina Beach? What was it called? Like the Sandpiper or something like that?
I think it was just called Cinema 4.
Maybe. I feel like it had like a name, like a sand or something like that. But
There was a little business next to the gym called something like that.
hmm, maybe
Because
that's
you
what I'm
remember
thinking
there
of.
was that Maxway
I remember that. Yeah.
where the Publix is right now, and then
Uh-huh.
there was a little business next to it called like Sandpiper Gym or something, I think maybe.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
What movie did this is before the 20s. What movie did me and you see there one day?
In Carolina Beach?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, no idea.
Oh, you know.
It wasn't Valentine's Day.
Yes, it was Valentine's
No, that
Day.
was Mayfair.
No, 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 no.
No, that was Mayfair.
We saw dinner for schmucks at Mayfair.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then we had to remember we had to pay for a cab back?
Right. Yeah, that was way before 20s. We were probably 15.
Maybe even younger than that.
Yeah, I do
Good
remember
time.
Valentine's Day going and really thinking we were going to get two girls to meet us there.
I
And
think we could.
yeah, probably could now, but yeah, everybody on the roster, I'm pretty sure we went through the entire roster and nobody met us, so we went on a nice double date to Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, your mom dropped us off, I think.
That checks out. Obviously the roster was not very deep.
Wasn't a roster, buddy.
On the roster. Uh, Another thing, the club trip to nationals, me, you, and Wes. That was good. Go up to Ohio State. We had a good time.
I finished top 10 in that tournament in three pointers made and in blocks, which is
Yeah.
outrageous.
I know I was up there in blocks. I don't know if you were up there in blocks. I think you may be fabricating that a little bit.
Ninth,
And whatever you say.
ninth in the tournament. I was
This
like
is another
three.
example of Tyler's stat padding.
Yeah, I don't stat bad. I was like three. I was third in the tournament in three pointers made.
I remember that. I remember you being up there in three pointers made. I just remember us going up there on that 15 passenger van, thinking we were going to get a hotel. And, everybody, we get there and we couldn't check in because it was the middle of the night or something like that. So we slept in the van, all like 10 of us in a 15 passenger van just slept in the van and then woke up at like 8 a.m. and played Michigan State and almost beat them. We lost, but
I can't believe we lost to those shitbags twice.
yeah, we should have beat them, especially the second time.
They fucking sucked.
Yeah. I do remember specifically from that trip, me and Wes got in an argument because he was coaching and he,
Don't ever take me out of the game.
she subbed me out for fucking Cole.
I think your words were don't ever take me out of the game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was heated. We were in a close game and he was trying to do the right thing. And, I probably should have just let it happen. Hindsight being 2020. Let him do his thing. He's the coach. We entrusted him to be the coach. And yeah, yeah, I was not happy about that.
And the funny thing is he was trying to take you out and he left me out there every game to fucking die. He never
Yeah,
subbed me out. And I was dying. And you know it's bad if I want to get taken out because I don't ever come out of the games in the men's league. But
yeah.
like when we were playing Wisconsin, I was dry heaving on the free throw line like multiple times. Like Ben, you remember Ben Grant?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He'd be up there shooting free throws, and I'd be in like the middle of the line just going,
Oh man. Yeah, that was funny. I'm pretty sure he called me over to the sideline. I was very confused and he said, "Don't ever take me out of the game," and went right back in the next dead ball. Um, Another thing that I was thinking about is that Jeep weekend on the north end. You remember, I think it was Casey and Drew that were out there with their family. I think Casey's
yeah,
dad was out there.
yeah.
Um,
Tommy used to do that every year.
yeah, they were all out there and we met them. I think it was me, you, and John. Or it might have been like Jesse or something like that. But we drove out in my Jeep.
I don't think I ever went out there for that.
No, 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 no. You were there. I think it was this time at least. Because we were all the way at the end and we did that it was when the game odds was really big.
I remember that.
I think it was that weekend. I think it was a Jeep weekend. And we were all out
I
there.
I thought that was for you might be right for some because we had to go all the way to the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you were like odds you walk across this burning hot sand.
Yep. And for some
I
reason, I
remember
think
that.
we both went five, so you had to walk barefoot across the entire beach, and it was like mid-July, super hot,
Soft
um,
sand too.
soft sand, and you had to walk at least 100 meters both ways to the porta potty.
And the rule was you couldn't run.
You couldn't run, so you just had to walk scalding feet. And I'll give it to you, you
You
didn't
know,
run.
that's probably why my feet are fucked up right now. Melted the goddamn bones in my feet.
Oh yeah, that was funny because I think you had to actually go to the bathroom,
I
and
did,
then
yeah.
like you didn't actually end up going just because it was too hot. So you just walked there and walked back. That was a far walk.
Yeah, I don't even think you can get out there anymore to where we were.
No, I think they've closed it off at that little narrow spot of the beach, which is pretty sad. The north end used to be such a fun spot. Now it's just like half of the north end. You can go out there if you have a boat. So, like if you have a boat and you just park over there at the end, like it's open. You just can't drive down there. You could
Okay.
walk down there. You could park where it's closed and then just walk all the way. You just can't drive.
And yeah, I know people the last couple of times, it's been few and far between that I've gone out on the beach, but we've gone to the south end.
Yeah, I haven't been to the North End in a long time. Just, the rules that they've enacted and the price for me to be home once a summer is not worth getting the year pass or anything like that.
Yeah, the
But I
south
definitely
end,
have,
I think Drew was telling me is still pretty reasonable.
yeah, it's still expensive, but if you go out there, it's worth it. And there's more beach out there too, which is nice. Um, Also, Oak Island trips, those are always good memories. I think we've had a few Oak Island trips. But there's one that stood out to me, and I think it was one time everybody went this time, and it was still chilly. I think we went in like April, so it wasn't super beach weather.
Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Was it Cinco de Mayo?
I had just gotten it was my first week of being alone with my CDL.
Okay.
And, and we just had the first game of that year. We went 0 and fucking 10.
In the men's league.
Yeah. Corey was out there.
Yeah,
We were out there for I think we did 4 days, 3 or 4 days.
I think we did. It was a nice little vacation. It was fun. I remember
Oh,
it being what?
I remember you being so fucked up in that food line.
Yeah, the first night. That was like the first day. So I think it was me, Drew, and Casey that got there kind of early.
Yep.
And we were waiting on everybody to get there because we were all going to go to the grocery store and like get things to make dinner and just have stuff. So, naturally, we're on vacation. We start drinking. And I think that was definitely Evan Drop's doing. Uh, the infamous concoction of Evan Drop. And I was sauced in the food line, just walking around. I'm pretty sure it ended with either you or me throwing a pack of burger buns at the other.
Yeah, I was trying to recreate that moment from when we were younger where I threw a pint of ice cream at you at like 40 miles an hour,
Yeah, I remember that.
but you were too fucked up.
Yeah, yeah, that
That's
checks.
probably the worst I've ever seen you in public.
Yeah, definitely.
Like other than at a bar.
Right. But not in a food line.
Yeah, somewhere where it's not socially acceptable. I also remember getting so sunburned that trip.
Yeah, because it was like chilly. I remember
Yeah.
it being kind of cold. So we went to try and go to the beach, and we got out there and we're like, yeah, it's too cold, blah blah blah. Come back to the house, and I'm pretty sure we just hung out in the driveway. I think we had cornhole boards that we set up in the driveway. Do you remember that?
Yeah, me and Wes won the tournament we had, and then you guys said because we borrowed those boards from Chance and Morgan. I think they were like their wedding boards.
Yeah.
And then everybody was bitching that the boards were too slick.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, anytime that you win something when I'm not your partner, there's probably some kind of underlying reason.
Sure, naturally.
Naturally,
Naturally.
just I mean, it's also it could be fabrication, just like you getting 11 rebounds and 17 assists in the men's league, and then also 9 blocks a game and the UNCW Nationals lies, both of them.
I said I finished ninth in the tournament.
Yeah, whatever. That's not what I
I
heard.
didn't say I had 9 blocks.
Averaged 9 blocks a game, 11 rebounds, 17
Okay.
assists.
Okay.
Probably went for
I'm
30
about
every game.
I'm about to start getting racist. I'm trying to think what else happened on that Oak Island trip that I remember us trying to take like a sick picture
I remember that. Yeah, the
and
infamous
the,
smoke pit.
we couldn't get the grill to light, but the grill was like super smoky. We ended up making burgers inside. I
Yeah.
also remember we were playing a game. It was kind of like categories. Like
Hmm.
it was one of those games where number 10 is category Circle of Death.
Yeah.
And the category was things that Tyler does that are annoying.
Yeah. Or
And
embarrassing or something like that.
and it went around the circle like 4 times. Everybody got one. And I remember Marissa being so fucking mad.
Because that was pretty early on in the relationship, right?
No, I mean, we'd still been together for like 4 years.
I don't know.
Because we
But I
were,
do remember that. I remember her being very annoyed
yeah. Yeah,
because
she was
we
being,
could think of so many things that you did that were embarrassing.
yeah, I mean, that was after college. So we were together at least 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but she was really pissed. This is actually super random. On that trip, I have a pink towel and I got something black on it in their bathroom that I don't know what it is, and it's still on this towel.
Interesting.
Like, I'll go get the towel right now if you want.
Believe you.
Like, I still don't know what the fuck it was. The first night, no idea.
Hmm. Interesting. On the topic of trips, topsail trips, those were elite.
Those were good.
That might have been slightly before 20s, or maybe early 20s, because I remember that was always with like Drew's family,
Yes. Drew's mom.
Drew's mom. Um, there's a picture that I saw of uh, Wes passed out in a chair and us all like posing with him. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I remember that picture. He was like nodding off in the chair, and we were like all posing behind him, and he didn't really catch on. And when he did catch on, he thought we were just taking a picture, so he like put up a peace sign. And then I do remember something about I think it was John got super drunk there too, and like people were trying to like carry him up the stairs or something.
It took 4 of us.
Yeah, it's a big dude. Um, Another thing that I was thinking about is playing pickup at Carolina Beach and Wes headbutting Lawrence.
That's my guy. That's my
Yeah,
guy. And Wes,
absolutely.
and Wes,
He's
and Wes,
everybody's guy.
and Wes did him. Wes said, you know what? This this man who's done nothing to me, I'm gonna headbutt him right in the forehead.
Oh man, just the go-to headbutt. I know that didn't feel good. Wes has got a dome piece.
I'm surprised Lawrence is still alive.
Yeah, me too. I wonder if he still thinks about that.
Lawrence Lawrence is funny. Like when I was going to play with that group at 5 a.m., he was
Hmm.
there. He's a character, man. He's a good dude. He played in our men's league team the past 2 years.
Okay, nice.
Solid guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Always, I've
He'll
never had a problem with Lawrence. I've never been the one that headbutted him.
he'll say to me, I'll make a couple shots, and then he'll say something like, "How about some defense now?"
Yeah, that's my kind of guy right there. Um, Beer Olympics at Drew's old house. You remember that?
Yes, I remember that
Beer
fucking
Olympics,
dizzy bad spin.
dizzy bad spin. I remember it was, I think it was pouring down rain, so we had to do a lot of the stuff in the garage.
Yep.
That was a good time. Beer Olympics were always fun. I think we only did like one official one, that I was a part of
You
at least.
remember the one that we went to with like my Harris Teeter group of friends? It was me, you, and Nick, and we were like invited to it. We went to it, and then in the car on the way home, we were driving my mom's car. Marissa was driving us, and Nick wrapped my mom's seatbelt around my neck so many times, and I was able to get my head out, but we couldn't get the seatbelt undone, and it cost my mom like $200.
Oh God. I do remember that.
Yep.
We should have just cut the seatbelt.
Yeah, well, now I would have just like gone like pick and pull or something and figured it out.
Yeah, that's crazy. I do remember that. We were like starting to get concerned because you were like losing circulation.
Yeah, I couldn't get out. Yeah, it was pretty fucking bad. Yeah, that was cool. That was
I
cool.
do
That was
remember
fun.
that. Um, another thing, which is towards the CB nights, syringes at Silver Dollar.
Getting Drew with him.
Yeah, Drew was always the one that got the syringes to the face.
After this last time, he'll never do it again, though.
No, we did him dirty in the last one. I don't blame him. Don't blame him at all. But it made for some good videos. There's always some good memories pop up that Drew just taking a syringe to the dome.
I got this doesn't really involve you as much, but um, like 2 years ago, well, it doesn't involve you at all. Me and Wes every weekend for like 6 months got blackout fucking drunk in Carolina Beach, and that was a good time.
Nice.
Like,
Uh,
probably did irreparable damage to my liver.
it's probably took years off your life.
Yeah,
Um,
we had fun though.
yeah, CB nights in general are just usually there's always something memorable about a CB night, whether it's just the severe or the sheer alcohol consumption that takes place. And then usually the most fun about a CB night is I think walking from Seawitch to wherever we're going next. I think that's the
Yeah,
most fun part of it.
like
Just
just
like
like getting
walking in the
double
street, like
buzz.
12 people deep, and like I
This
think
this will
Drew.
this will be something that Wes, Corey, and Drew will remember. It was Drew's like quote unquote like last hurrah before Reagan was born,
Mhm.
and all of us saw a Ferrari while we were out. It was fucking insane.
Interesting. Don't see that too often in Carolina Beach. It was probably rented.
Definitely rented.
Yeah.
Multiple owners, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say. But yeah, CB
Anyway,
nights. I think Drew has some great Snapchat memories of us just on that street from Seawitch down to the boardwalk, just walking, and always something random's happening, whether it's like somebody jumping on your back or fucking with Wes or whatever it may be.
me and Wes went out. This is years ago. I think we might have been in high school. This dude was skateboarding by us, and Wes said something. Now, I wish a motherfucker would do something. Dude jumped off his skateboard and got in both. And I mean, we were like younger, so we were like kind of like shocked. And that dude 100% would have beat the fuck out of at least one of us. Because he jumped off his skateboard, little dude, jumped off his skateboard and just was going off on us. And I remember being like, man, I can't believe I'm gonna get the fuck beat out of me by a dude who rides a skateboard. But thankfully, nothing happened. Yeah, rode by Wes was like fucking pussy. Jumps off the skateboard. right in our faces. I wonder if Wes remembers that. He probably does.
That's good stuff. This definitely wasn't in our 20s either. I think it was like late high school, but uh, we had like a big thing at Wes's house. Like a lot of people were staying over this night, and we ended up like walking around the neighborhood late at night, and Nick was flipping the trash can lids, and Wes was just chasing after him the whole neighborhood, trying to flip them back up.
I'll tell you something fucked up that he did that would piss me off now. I remember he took a for sale sign out of somebody's yard and put it in a different yard. And I'm pretty sure he took a whole mailbox out of the ground.
I do. I kind of remember that. Um, yeah, I kind of remember that. It wasn't the thing that was funny about the trash can lids is that like it wasn't that big of a deal because it was just opening the trash can lids. But like for some reason, Wes was just going behind, flipping the ball back. He's like, "Hey, stop that!"
Well, you know how it is. It's like one of those
It's your neighborhood too, right?
people live below me. You can't be loud.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I've gotten
Um,
neighbors
and
like that.
then also this is a big one, not in our 20s, but uh being at Corey's, I think it was the 4th of July, and
And
the hot
Kevin cutting
sauce
his
night.
foot in the pool.
And what?
I thought you were going to talk about Kevin like fucking sliced his foot open on the filter on the ground.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about a hot sauce night specifically.
Oh God, that was hell.
That was a crazy night.
I'll maintain I was not involved.
I don't believe that for a second.
You were there. I was sleeping.
Yeah, we were all sleeping.
Me on the ground with my Woody blanket.
I don't know how the hot sauce got in his eye.
I promise you, I was not involved in that.
Yeah, right. That's what I'd say too if
I
I didn't
may or
know.
may not have had something. Well, me and Corey were the only ones still inside. Corey was in the bed and I was on the floor because we were fake
Right.
asleep. Everybody else was out of they chose the outside route.
Yeah, we went outside.
And I remember Wes getting in poor Connor's face when he looked around and saw you and Mike and then chose to push Connor.
Yeah, I think he pushed me too. I don't know, but the that was a great night. That was not for Wes, but it was great. All right, well let's cut it there and let's jump into a commercial. We'll be right back.
I know some of you guys may be too old to remember all the fun times we had in our 20s, but if you can take the time to think back, post something in the comments or use Snapchat to let us know. And if you're too geriatric to figure that out, you could always just call Trey or I and let us know your fun memories of the times we've had in the group.
All right, yeah, let us know. Get in the comments. Give us some feedback.
Give us some engagement, guys. Really, we're 80 episodes in, and I don't think we've gotten one single, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, it's like natural, but oh, fuck. Oh my God. Brain
I
melt,
don't know.
Corey. Brain melt. It's like when something happens naturally.
Uh, organic.
There we go. We
Okay,
wait, is that what I want?
I think organically something happens
Like
naturally.
no one's come to this podcast like organically, like
Well,
through.
yeah, there's probably definitely not random people that just like search Spotify and they're like, oh, let me peep this.
Yeah,
Which
if their wives have similar names.
maybe,
Yeah.
uh, if they read the description of the podcast, they would definitely listen.
If they read the description, they'd be like, these guys haven't talked about gambling since like episode 3.
We do talk about gambling. I think that was going to be a centerpiece of the podcast was going to be us talking about gambling because we were big into it at that point and we did
And we
terribly, so we just
and we
cut it
found out
out.
how bad we were.
We were bad, and that was like March Madness of last year.
Been over a year. So
Yeah, well, that didn't go well. Just spoiler alert, you don't have to go back and listen to the last episodes for us to tell you that. Um, but yeah, we'll just kind of continue on with the regularly scheduled program. Talk lives of recent, talk some NBA playoffs, random questions, Pats peeves, closing comments. So lives of recent, what's been up?
Just been working. I got a rental that I'm trying to get rented. Uh had some pretty good interest on it. We talked last episode about how that person never got up with me and they'll never see it again. And I stand by
Yeah,
that. They'll never see it again. Or they'll never see it for the first time. Had someone come out. They checked it out. They seemed to like it. They had an application. Then they asked questions afterwards, texting throughout yesterday, and now they've ghosted. So
mm,
I don't know if they're just busy, they're crunching the numbers, whatever. But hopefully that gets rented soon. I'll take on well, I'll make 1,500, and then I gotta spread out the love to my firm and the tax man.
for sure. Makes sense. I need somebody to rent my house.
Still not?
No, still not. I mean, we moved out April 16th.
That's
So
been
like, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Like it hasn't been a full month or anything yet. I was hoping that somebody would move in early May, but they've had some interest, no applications yet, which sucks.
yeah. I mean, you're gonna get a lot of flaky people with
Yeah.
leases at least in my experience. 'Cause this is the third, it's not the third lease, but it's the third house I've done. And so I've had, like 15, 20 applicants total. Um, Half the motherfuckers are dumb as shit. And then other ones are great. But they just, I don't understand the communication thing. It's just very rude.
Yeah.
Then another thing I
Um,
got going on. Oh, you got something to say to me?
sorry to me.
Yeah, you say something?
No, 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 no. I was just typing something. You're good.
Starting a notary class, or I'm
Mm.
getting my notary on the class is the 28th of this month. Starting a little mobile notary business with a guy I work with. Make a little extra cash.
Yeah, that'll be good. You can charge basically anything you want for notaries. Because there's so little of them that when somebody needs something notarized, like you can basically charge whatever you want. I mean, given you got to be reasonable or they'll just find somebody else, but there's definitely a demand. Every time you sign a lease, every time you do that, like you have to get all that shit notarized.
Common misconception, you cannot charge whatever you want in North Carolina.
Really?
You can charge $10 per signature.
Really?
So, and then you can only charge the federal rate of mileage if you drive to them, which is 70 cents a mile.
Mm.
So if it's
I've,
if
I've
it's
heard
one
of people
person,
charging like $100 a signature.
they might have different certifications, but for a signature, absolutely not. That is 100% illegal in North Carolina.
I mean, that's great. That would be ridiculous to have to pay that for a notary, but that's
Now,
fine. I mean,
if they're notarizing 10 signatures, then yeah,
maybe that's kind of what I was thinking of.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you sign like a lease or something, you're gonna have to sign 10
yeah.
times.
No, yeah, it's per signature, not per time you stamp it, per signature.
Yeah, I had to get when I was signing a lease in Colorado, I had to get a notary and one of the somebody in my unit was a notary and I was just like, "Hey, I'll give you a coin if you just notarize the stuff." I mean, sick. Because a coin
What's
is
a
like a
coin?
unit. It's like a unit coin. People will hand them out like for an accomplishment type thing.
Oh,
Sometimes they're hard to get. Some people collect them.
he didn't earn one.
It was she, and I mean, she did something for me, and I gave her a coin. So I mean, I guess earning, yeah.
Typical woman getting something she does not deserve.
Hey, she helped me out. I didn't have to pay.
That was a joke for all you
Sure,
woke
sure it was, dude.
for all
Sure
you
it was a joke.
woke warriors out there.
I think you're probably the most woke warrior that listens to this podcast.
Um, I'm not that woke. I just have common sense.
I
Wes might
think
be
that's
more woke
something a
than me
woke
now.
person would say.
Wes might be more woke than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't consider, people use woke as a derogatory term. I wouldn't say it's derogatory.
I'm also not even woke. I'm like left leaning, but that's beside we're getting off track.
We are. But yeah, so I heard that there was a little bit of an incident with Seaview, and you got him in a lot of trouble.
Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna break this down for everybody that doesn't have a penis in their fucking pants and doesn't understand the rules of the road. If you're driving down a street and it says no commercial vehicles, right? That does not apply to commercial vehicles that have to go that way to do a delivery. Doesn't work that way. If I have to go that way to do a delivery, I have to go that way. Truck driving school, professional driver, not some cuck head of a fucking HOA association who didn't have the gall to, I don't know, wave me down and ask me some questions. Just want to call my boss, act like a little bitch ass motherfucker. And you don't even know? You're sitting in an office, pussy. Like what? It's my little rant.
Yeah. So did you get in trouble or no?
No, because then I explain to them the rules because they don't even
Um,
know.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, in a sense.
If I have to go somewhere, guess what? Unless a DOT officer tells me I can't go there, then I can go there.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get me fucking started on these people, bro.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. You know, we can't all be professional drivers like you.
And I'm held to a higher standard, so I need to know the rules. And I
I would
know 'em,
agree.
and I know 'em.
All right. Just testing you a little bit. Um, what else? Anything else? Big news going on?
Someone in North Carolina recently caught the state record for a vermilion snapper.
Like snapping turtle?
A vermilion snapper is a fish.
Oh, yeah. Didn't know that. Right over my head.
Oh,
Wes
that's
Wes
funny.
gonna get that tattooed on him.
Funny you said that. Uh, I was going to Burrito Shack like 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
and there was a fucking giant snapping turtle in the street, like four or five people around it. And I walked up, and they were like, "You think that bites?" And I was like, "That will break your fingers off if you try and touch it." And I was like, "Everybody just leave it alone. It's gonna go where it needs to go." And then everybody's fucking with it. Not fucking with it, they're trying to help it, but they don't know what they're doing. They're basically irritating it. And then this 6'2", um, muscular woman with a cowboy hat comes up and just grabs the fucking turtle and puts it definitely not the direction the turtle was going, puts it like in the other direction. So I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
well, it's gonna be a problem for someone else later. But yeah, this badass bitch just fucking grabbed a snapping turtle, the biggest snapping turtle I've ever seen. Just snatched it up.
Balls, the balls on that lady.
The ovaries, dog.
Yeah, whatever. You call them whatever you want to. They're
She
basically balls
produces
just
she
stuffed
produces
inside.
eggs.
There's a sign right outside of my neighborhood in like downtown Waynesville, and it's like "Save the turtles." And I was kind of like, okay, that's weird. We're not anywhere by an ocean. Like, why do they care about turtles? Not realizing that there's other things that other turtles besides sea turtles. Um, so I didn't think anything of it until I've seen two turtles on my drive to work, like trying to cross the road. So I've had to stop in the middle of the road and like scoot this little turtle along. They weren't snapping turtles or anything. They were really like little um, turtles. I just didn't want them to get crushed by a car. So, the good humanitarian of me stopped and helped these turtles across the road.
They're probably like sliders.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
Are they
turtles.
like yellow? Like
No.
yellow on the skin?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I one time saved a turtle. I thought I was saving a turtle, box turtle, right?
Hmm.
So they're terrestrial, they don't swim.
Hmm.
And I kept putting it in the fucking water, and then it would like kind of like inch its way out. And I'm like, bro, go to your home. And I was
Drowning this
basically
turtle.
didn't realize I was drowning it. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, common misconception. Let them go across the road. Just put them back on the side because they're going to cross regardless.
Yeah. Put them the way that they're going.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with snakes, actually. Snakes don't chase people. They're just trying to get where they're going. Um, but like if you're trying to get a snake to cross the road and you like redirect it back to where it's going on the other side of the road, it's just gonna cross again eventually. So
Yeah.
just let it cross the road. Um, but my life of recent, I've been kind of in processing all week, so it means like you get to a new place and you basically go and like put yourself in the system of this new installation, go to all these places. A lot of it'll be like medical appointments and make sure everything's up to date and all that. So I've been doing that all week, so really not doing much, very short days. My class actually starts tomorrow, so it's like my first day of school, which is kind of sick. But Saturday, took Kobe on his first longer run. We've done a couple jogs around the neighborhood, but we went 3 miles, uh, which he did really well. Just ran right next to me. He's better on runs than he is walks because he doesn't get super distracted. So he did pretty good with that. He did. I tried to get him to poop before we went on the run. Um, but he wouldn't go, obviously. So I was like, screw it, we'll just go, blah, blah, blah. And then we're running and he like stops, he halts in his tracks and just shits in the middle of the road.
What a
So yeah, what an asshole. Um, but so I had bags with me, but I didn't want to pick up this shit and still have to run like a mile and a half with a bag of poop in my hand. And I wasn't gonna like put it in a bag and then leave the bag of poop on the side of the road.
I
So I
hate
just
when
got
people
like,
do that.
yeah, like if you're gonna just leave it, give it back to the earth
Yeah.
if you're not gonna pick it up. But I got a rock and I like scooped his shit off the side of the road. So that was pretty funny. Thankfully, no cars were coming by and I could just like scrape his poop. It was like smearing all over the concrete. It was pretty gross.
You should have just fucking left it, dude.
Yeah, but right in the middle, you know how pissed I would have been if I was driving and then ran over a pile of dog shit. Yeah, so that was funny. Um, but that was all good. Then we went to the farmer's market, me and Sam did. Um, got some good sourdough bread, some jerky. This place, one of the stands that's at the farmer's market, they have a farm or a ranch, I guess they call it, and it's about an hour south, and they have all this cattle and all these farm animals. So I got some jerky and I got some breakfast sausage from them. So I'm pretty pumped to try that. Jerky was awesome. And then obviously
What
I
kind
got
of
some
sausage?
pork sausage. So for
Link
you, probably
patty.
like too many pork for you, but
No, sausage is not too many pork. Pork chop, too many pork.
whatever, dude.
Um, but I was saying link or patty.
It's patty.
Okay. I
It's
I
patty.
I flip flop on which one I like better.
Me too. I think the safest option from this place before we got too into the weeds with all their stuff was just trying some sausage patties. I feel like if you
Yeah.
have good sausage patties, then we can branch out and try some other stuff.
And at
They have
least
a
that way
bunch
you
of,
know it's kind of like a fresher,
yeah, no doubt.
they
It's not
care for
like a
their
bunch
animals
of,
situation.
yeah, he said everything's grass fed. There's no grain or anything like that. So everybody with a gluten allergy can sleep a little better tonight knowing that I'm not eating grain fed animal. But
Thank Christ.
and then we got some eggs and I actually think they're duck eggs.
I've heard the yolk looks different in them.
It's like super yellow, which I don't know if that's just like very fresh, but I've gotten fresh eggs before and it hasn't been this yellow. So they
Duck
taste,
is a good they're a good eating bird.
yeah, the eggs taste like eggs. So if they are duck eggs, then whatever. Mm. And then Sam and I took the dogs to this park that's right near the house. It's like right on the river, Rubidoux Park. Um, and we
I'm
just walked
familiar.
the dogs around. You're familiar with Rubidoux? You come visit me out here?
No.
Yeah, you're an asshole. But it's a nice little area and they have like a path that encircles the park. So we just took the dogs and it's nice because Toby's kind of reactive to little kids and other dogs right now. So we're trying to work on that. So it gives us space. So like if another person is coming walking their dog, we can kind of just veer off into the grass like 20 feet away. And I can make them sit and like just watch. I'm trying to teach them not to be super reactive to other dogs. So that is it's going. But it's a lot of work. You know, still a puppy. He's like 7 months old, so he's getting better. But
Is
uh
that it?
7 months, yeah.
He looks like a completely different dog from when I saw him.
Yeah, they grow quick, man. They do grow quick. And I think he's about as big as he's gonna get in terms of height wise. He's still very thin. I think he'll start filling out more so than getting taller. And it's hard because
Been
Jazz
there,
is,
dog.
yeah, you were about as tall as you were gonna get in like seventh grade.
Hey man, I thought I was gonna be huge. Well, I am
Yeah,
just in a different way. A burn.
you are huge. Yeah, don't take that away from yourself. You put a lot of work in to get that big.
Thank you. Appreciate that. A lot of
Um,
people don't usually frame it that way.
yeah, it was hard work. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of long nights and extra calories went into that.
Binge drinking,
Yeah.
finishing it off with a 2400 milkshake.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. But dogs were smoked the rest of the evening, so that was nice because they actually just chilled for once. Jazz always just chills, but Kobe just chilled and slept the rest of the day, which was awesome. It allowed me to watch Game 7 of the Clippers Nuggets, which we'll get into a little bit more. And I crushed way too many Miller lattes. But safe to say, I'm very disappointed with the Clippers Nuggets game. Like I said, we'll talk more NBA coming up, but that was a shitty game to watch. And then my wine came in from Barcelona. So when we and Sam went out there, we did the wine tasting at one of those old wineries, and we got three bottles, two reds and a white. The reds, one is like a red blend, which is grapes from the local region, which is pretty cool. And we actually tasted that one. Um, and then the other is called like a Picapole red. And Picapole is like a grape that's only grown in that Catalonia region. So we did taste it while we were there. It's good. It's red wine, you know what I mean? But I think it's pretty cool just to have something from there that you can only get from there. So we're pumped. We're gonna crack those open on the anniversary coming up. So May 27th, we're gonna be pretty wine toasted. Yeah, good talk.
Nothing like a little dead air for the people.
Nothing like it.
So which one are you saving? The red?
So I think the first one we're gonna open, probably on the anniversary, is that Picapole Red, which is the one from the rare grape that you can only get from there. So we'll probably open that first, but truthfully, we'll probably drink two bottles, if not three. And then we're just gonna
Okay.
keep the bottles. You know, I'd be smacking the wine.
I
I mean,
remember
you
for a
think about
time
it.
there. I remember for a time there that was like your thing.
Yeah, I love some wine. It's very relaxing, and it's different. It's a different pace than sitting down and just cracking beer after beer. You get to sip on wine. It takes a little longer to drink. Um, and I just like the buzz that you get from wine better than beer, to be honest. Beer just makes me like super full, and like, yeah, you get buzzed after a while, but you got to drink eight of them.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm sure if I imagine I'm not done drinking for the rest of my life, but um I wonder if my tolerance will change. I'm sure it would having this long of a break.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'll probably come back pretty quick, but the first time you go out and you have a couple beers, you're probably like, oh, this is hitting different. Like this two beers is hitting a little different than two beers normally does.
Yeah, because you gotta I mean to feel good, I think like 6 beers, 7 beers is like the perfect. Like you're not too fucked up.
Yeah, I think it
Right in the pocket.
definitely depends.
Also
I think
depends on the time in
yeah,
which
like the
you spend
time,
this
like
amount.
did you just eat or are you on an empty stomach? I think
Yeah.
that definitely plays a factor. And also there's something about drinking a beer on the beach is you may not feel it, but like two beers on the beach is different than just drinking two beers on your couch for sure.
Empty stomach, 4 beers, you're good.
Yeah, I'm definitely
But I
feeling the
don't
buzz at four
I don't
beers.
I don't have empty stomachs, bro.
That's true.
Mm.
Um, a little job update. So the market is still open for another like 2 weeks. But I've done most of my interviews. I still have like three more places I'm interviewing with. Um, Three people have gotten back to me. JBLM, which is in Washington, Drum, which is in New York, and Germany. So JBLM and Drum both offered me, they said it was their number one. So like if I want to go there, I just got to tell them I want to go there. Germany said I'm their number two. Which is like they're being like weirdly cryptic about it, which I hate. I wish we would just be transparent. Um, so they're kind of it's hard because I kind of want to wait on Germany and see if their number one person ends up being like, "Hey, I'm going somewhere else." That way, I have that option available to me too. But JBLM and Drum are like, "Hey, you're the number one, but like, can you please let us know by Wednesday, um, if we're gonna match in the market and you'll do a one for one and you'll come to work with us." So I'm like,
Oh wow.
"Damn, like, do I pass up on these opportunities waiting for Germany?" And then for some reason Germany doesn't work out. And then I had told, these other two places like, hey, thanks, but no thanks. And then for some reason now I'm, back at square one with no job offers. So, and I don't want to be that guy that's like, yeah, sure, like let's match in the market. I'll do number one with you. And then something happens later on, and then I kind of have to be like, hey, yeah, change my mind. Sorry. Hope it didn't screw you guys over too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. How many interviews have you done total?
Probably like eight.
And
I've
it
heard
is
back from
Fort, it is
three.
Fort Drum in New York.
Fort Drum in New York. Yeah.
That's way out there.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Almost like Niagara Falls.
Yeah, it's super up there. It's not really like the best location, but the unit is really good. Um, I would get a chance to do some like really cool stuff, and they have a cool mission set. So like, and it would look good on paper. So that's the only reason like I would want to go to Fort Drum specifically. But I should hear back from Fort Stewart in Georgia, Alaska, and Hawaii this week. Hopefully before Wednesday, so I can kind of put that into my game plan. And I still haven't even interviewed for a couple other positions. So it's like it's super weird that these units are all on different timelines. And like I get that they're trying to get their person and get this all settled and behind us, but it's putting me in an interesting predicament because I don't want to lose out on opportunities for places that I am interested in going because I might want to go to one other place just a little bit more and then it not work out and then I'm in like, you know, Fort Bliss, Texas or something like that.
No offense, Texas.
Yeah, no offense, Texas is just not my number one pick. If I end up there, like it is what it is. Like we'll make the most of it. But Bliss is like right there on the line of Mexico, I'm pretty sure.
I think the one in Savannah would be sick.
Yeah, it would be sick. I'd be close to home, right there on the outside of Savannah. So Savannah would be like a 30-minute drive. Be easy to come back home and people also to come down and visit. When we do fringe trips, it'll be right there. So that's definitely on the list. Um,
Yeah, that's also something you got to consider.
it's definitely in the consideration. Yeah.
Like how you gonna how much is it gonna cost you to get on the friend trip? Like
Yeah, I mean,
if you go to Germany,
I'm not going on the
no
fringe
friends
trip to be
trip.
honest. Yeah, no fringe trip. Um, and that's okay. I mean, like the fringe trip is it's hard because that's not everybody's gonna be able to go on the fringe trip every year. Like Drew wasn't able to go on the fringe trip last year, and that's okay. Like people are in
And
different life positions.
we probably won't this year.
Right, exactly. And I mean, like just because one person can't go doesn't mean that the whole group shouldn't go. It's just I think it's more important to keep it going and make it an annual thing, not inaugural, annual.
Yes,
And and just like do it every year so it becomes a thing. And whoever can go can go. And we'll just base the location and the size of the Airbnb off of, how many people are gonna go.
exactly.
Yeah, so that's developing story. Should have more to follow. I might even have a decision next episode. Um, Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Um, Kind of depends on the emails I get back early this week.
Washington would be sick though.
Washington would be crazy. I looked up the weather in Tacoma because that's where it is. It's in Tacoma, and you think it's way north, um, but it's right there in like a port city. Um, doesn't really snow.
Not the port city.
Not the port city, no. Um,
I've
but
been to
really like
Tacoma.
the lows. I was looking at like the lows for the months of December, January, and February, and it's like 38, 39. Really doesn't get that cold.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of on the same, it's very similar like Vancouver
Right.
because that's a really nice part of the country. Tacoma's got some rough spots
Yeah, it
too.
does. It definitely does, and especially because it's the lower rent of those big Washington cities like Seattle. It's the cost of living is way lower in Tacoma than it is in Seattle. Still way higher than the national average, but um, way lower than Seattle, which probably forced a lot of people out of Seattle into Tacoma. But truthfully, I'm not super worried about that. Everywhere we've lived, there's been rough spots. I mean, Columbus, there were some rough spots in Columbus. Um, there's some rough spots in Colorado Springs. A lot of homeless people in Colorado Springs, especially downtown. We lived in an apartment downtown in Colorado Springs and like homeless people out the ass. So, I'm not super worried about it. We'll do some research and make sure we're living in a good spot. But
It I'll I'll redeem
yeah.
myself, bro. I
Uh-huh.
swear.
What do you, oh God. Yeah,
If you buy up.
for those wondering what Tyler's talking about, he set me up with a terrible realtor in Columbus, and just so happened that she sold me the wrong house. So hopefully, hopefully, if we do buy out there, I get somebody that actually sells me the right address.
You did, to be fair, you did end up liking the house more, or at least that's what you told me.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out great. The only problem right now is that I can't get people to rent it. Um,
Also, if you did get the house you thought you were buying, you probably wouldn't have had a line of sight on that dog and would not have gotten an argument with that guy.
that's true. Um, we probably saved that dog's life.
That dog is dead.
Nah, he gave it away. He had to have.
That guy put a bullet in that dog and buried it.
Well, at least it's out of its misery. But yes, still 2 weeks left in the market, so we'll see. But um, Washington looks like the favorite right now. I think I would pick that over Fort Drum if I had to pick right now. Um, I mean that it's tough because Washington's far in its own right. Like a flight from Washington State back home is long. Might as well be in Europe at that point.
Um, that's a crazy statement. It's like a 5 hour flight. How long does it
Yeah, I
take to get to
mean,
Europe?
like 6 hours.
Oh fuck, I didn't know that.
The
Yeah,
thing about
might
going
as well.
the thing about going west versus going east is the going east, there's less resistance in like the fucking prevailing winds for the airplane. So it kind of just cruises up there and can fly faster. Versus going west, you're going against those winds. So it takes longer, if that makes any sense.
Interesting.
Now it's not
So
going to cut like an hour, but it's still a long flight. I mean, my flight to from St. Louis to Phoenix right before I went to Vegas. So I had to take a flight from St. Louis to Phoenix and then a quick flight from Phoenix to Vegas. But that flight was 3.5 hours, St. Louis to Phoenix.
I'm not good at geography because I'm not. I guess Arizona does border Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, I got on the plane thinking St. Louis to Phoenix can't be that long of a flight, like 2 hours probably. And get on there, and the pilot comes over the speaker and he's like, "Yeah, we just got a quick 3.5 hour flight." And I was like, "What the fuck? 3.5 hours? Why?"
That one makes sense to me, but I always thought Vegas would have been way farther north. than
I
Phoenix.
don't think Vegas is very far north at all. I think it's like southwest Nevada. It's really close to California.
Hmm.
The flight from Phoenix to Vegas was like 30 minutes.
I've never been to Arizona.
Yeah, the only reason I've been to Arizona was at the Phoenix airport. So
Well, I'm kind of weird. I've interesting. I feel like you've been there if you took a shit there. So like I've been to Houston because I took a shit in the Houston airport.
I don't think that counts.
You don't think it counts? So I haven't been to Texas.
I'd say no.
What do you consider in what time frame?
I think you at least have to get out of the airport.
So if you did a
If you
layover,
landed and you
if you
had a
did like a
long
day
layover,
layover,
yeah, say you land in Dallas Fort Worth, you have like a long layover, so you're like, whatever, I'll just exit security, go eat lunch like outside of the airport. I'd say you've been to Dallas or you've been to Texas. But I think if you just land in the airport, ride the little train to your next gate, take a shit or whatever you got to do, and then get on the next plane, I don't think you've been to that state.
hmm, interesting.
Yeah.
What about driving through a state?
I think you got to stop.
Okay.
Like me and Sam, when we were driving from Colorado to Georgia, we went south because we didn't feel like driving through Kansas because we had done that forever, so many times. But we stopped at a gas station in Oklahoma and we got a magnet. So I'd say I've been to Oklahoma.
Have you been to Kansas?
Yeah, definitely. Kansas is too long. You got to stop and get gas. And the tricky part about Kansas is there's no fucking gas station. So every time you see a gas station, you basically got to stop
That's how they
just
get you.
because you don't know when your next one is.
Did we touch on that zoning meeting? Yeah.
Not really.
Um, so just I'll put it into perspective for you.
Hmm.
There's a 126 approved apartment units next to us.
Hmm.
The reason they had the meeting is because they're trying to switch to townhomes,
Hmm.
85 townhomes. So it would be less people
Hmm.
and people would own property. So it's not really a matter of we can fight it because there something's getting built there. It's already been approved.
Hmm.
They just have to let us know. And there were, I think, 12 questions asked, 12 or 13, and I asked seven of them.
What'd you ask?
I asked them if their neighborhood would connect to ours, which it will. Like they're just gonna be apparently DOT regulations. There can't be like one-off neighborhoods like ours and McQuillan. So they're gonna connect to McQuillan and us. That's why I saw your uncle in there because
Yeah.
he backs up to that. I asked if they had to pay for that, like because it's technically HOA owned property,
Hmm.
but there's a deeded right of way, so technically they don't have to pay for it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I asked them if they did any sort of environmental studies on the effects of runoff water and how that would affect our community. And he passed that question off to the lawyer that was there. And then he said he would share with me everything they had. Haven't received an email yet, but whatever. Then, some other questions like completion dates. There's a mini storage being built at the front of it. I asked them if that was going to be for residents only or if it's like a separate business. It's a separate business. So I don't love that.
Yeah.
Um, I asked them if we were allowed to use their neighbor. I was concerned about them using our neighborhood as a cut through, so I asked if there was going to be a gate or anything because it's mainly for emergency services to be able to get in and out. And he said the request for a gate was denied by the county. So I was like, okay. So does that mean I can use this neighborhood as a cut through? And he was like, well, yeah. Okay. If they can use our roads, I can use their roads. Mm,
I mean,
okay.
that's not bad. Like, it's truthfully like a lot of times exiting your neighborhood, just jumping out to River Road. Sometimes it's a little inconvenient pulling out to Carolina Beach Road and then going and taking a right, where if you could just cut through that neighborhood, get on McQuillan and go out to River Road, that could be nice. If there was a gate there, that'd be super inconvenient.
I'd like there to be a gate there so people can't just drive by our houses.
Okay.
I just don't think we have the our road weren't built to accommodate, 100 more cars than are in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
But that's not up to me. Maybe people won't even use it. They'll have their own entrance, so they won't have the same entrance. They have their own way in.
true.
So basically, I asked a lot of questions, and some people thanked me for asking a lot of
Nice.
questions.
Because they probably had the same questions. They just didn't want to ask them.
Listen, if you open it up for questions, I'm asking questions.
Hey, there you go. Questioner.
Questioner, Karenler, call me what you want. I'm asking them.
You could always go out there when they start construction and just like lay in the hole the pieces of equipment is digging and like protest.
I wanted to hate the two guys running it, but they were actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, that means a lot, I guess, in the big scheme of things. But let's jump into another commercial and then continue with part three. If anybody needs a personalized workout plan, they want to get into running, maybe get into cardio, a little something, why don't you just hit me up? I got a couch to half marathon workout plan that's just sitting there because my co-host doesn't want to move. Uh, so yeah, sponsored message by Trey's Workouts.
And we're back. Thank you so much for that very pointed ad. I have been doing something and I've been going and getting treatment, right? I'm trying to get better, doing
Yeah,
workouts every.
I'm sure there are tons of great cardio burning workouts, but um let's jump into the NBA playoffs a little bit. Kind of get this show on the road so we still have time for random questions. But big news, NBA Pop is stepping down as head coach. Where do you think he ranks in the best coaches of all time?
Top five. Are we going like all of basketball or just NBA? I think you have to relegate him to just NBA, right?
Yeah, I think just NBA, and I think really all of basketball for me. But uh, he's got it. He's definitely top five. I'd say top three. Phil Jackson's up there. Pop's up there. Um, but yeah, Pop probably like one or two for me, to be honest.
Probably three.
Yeah, who you got in front?
Phil Jackson's probably my one because 11 championships.
It's tough.
And then probably Red Auerbach.
Red, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't know, something about Pop's like just player development and roster building, I think is just at a different level.
Well, he builds a culture
Yeah.
for sure. Um, and this is not to take anything away from Pop, but having, well, you can say that about those other two guys I said too, but having great players definitely helps.
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
helps. Um, but yeah, I like where he's going. He's now going to be the head of basketball operations. 76, so he's getting up there, and I like him stepping down, when he knows he's ready. Get a new, young, energetic coach in there while he still kind of has his footprint on the program and try and set the Spurs up for some success.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's still gonna be his culture. I mean, he's already set it in place. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a guy from his coaching tree.
mhm.
Um, I think, yeah, I agree. I think it's a good move to step away for his health too. So,
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's jump into some of the games. Nuggets Clippers game seven last night. Nuggets dominated. I really think the difference is the Nuggets have Aaron Gordon, Westbrook, and Christian Brown. Uh, Clippers are just too lazy. That's kind of the fact of the matter. They have their core. The Clippers have their good players. I really like Zubac. Played good. They have Harden. They have Kawhi, but they just don't have the role players that Nuggets do.
Yeah, and Harden played like shit.
Yeah, he did. He always plays like shit in game sevens.
Yeah, he's very good though. Just not. He just wasn't last game.
Yeah.
Kawhi was unreal.
Yeah.
I don't know how he played like that after not playing for 3 years, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he had a great end of the season and playoffs.
Zubats is really good.
He is. He's really good. Too bad he's still not on the Lakers. They could use him.
Um, Westbrook's my dog, so like I want to pull for them, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, he got that dunk late in the game. It wasn't super late in the game. They were already up almost 30. But it was really like the ceiling of the game. And he got a dunk. It was like a rim graze two-hander, and he hung on the rim and got a tech. But he like hung on the rim to get a tech on purpose. And then the crowd just they eat that shit up. Like that crowd loves Westbrook.
That was a sick fucking dunk. Like just to hang on the rim full like
Yeah. Did you see the lob that Aaron Gordon caught? Christian Brown threw
fuck.
up a lob.
Oh, I
So
thought you were talking
he
about to win another game.
no, it was Christian Brown threw up a lob. Um, and Aaron Gordon went up, caught it backwards, and then dunked it backwards. It was nuts. It was crazy. I'm glad you have a lot of stuff to say.
Sorry, I got a text message about this lease. Uh,
All right, so let's jump in. Warriors Rockets.
is that
Game seven
tonight?
tonight. Yep, game seven tonight. Um, I think Warriors
I
punted game five, and then they ran out of gas in game six, and now it's back in Houston.
you This got said to us in the WAC league, but if you play with a puppy, you're gonna get bit,
Yeah,
and they're about to get bit
you
tonight.
think so? I think they have to win. I think the
They
script
have
is
to.
the script now. So we thought it was gonna be LeBron versus Steph. That's what we thought the script is. The script
Stephanie
is
Ant.
is Ant Edwards beating KD last year, bullying Braun this year, and then beating Steph. So him just taking out all the legends of the game right now. Dude,
Collecting them like infinity stones.
yeah, his words, but dude, they have a whole different animal in Ant. That he's unreal.
He's psychotic. That kid's psychotic.
He is psychotic, but that's going to
And
be
you
a
know
good
what?
game.
I don't like the deadbeat dad stuff. It hits a little close to home for me. But that motherfucker can hoop. All is forgiven when you can ball.
Yeah, you don't have to pay child support if you can play basketball like that.
Well, he's gonna pay it. And secondly, if my dad could hoop like that, I don't think I'd be so upset.
That's true.
You know?
Um, Pacers Cavs, game one is tonight. I think it's actually happening right now. It started probably an hour ago, but what are your predictions there?
Interesting matchup there.
Hmm.
Um, Tyrese Halliburton, I think he took a little bit of offense to being on the most overrated.
Think he did.
And I fuck with Halliburton. He's
I
good.
do too. Yeah. I
I
like
wish
the
he was
Pacers team.
I wish he was a little better for me in the regular season for fantasy, but I don't like that shit his dad did at the end of that Bucks.
No, no, I don't like that either. He
He's
had no
banned
right.
from games now.
I'm glad that Halliburton came out and said, like, yo, my dad was in the wrong.
Yeah.
So that was good. I like Pacers in seven. I think it's going to be a really good long series.
I they beat a they beat an undermanned Bucks team though.
They did.
Granted, Giannis is that guy, so you still gotta contend with that.
Hmm.
But they're gonna have to show me something these first two games. I'm gonna go Cavs in six.
Okay. All right. Cavs in six. Knicks Celtics game one Monday. What are predictions there?
God, I want the fucking Knicks to win. Celtics, I think, are gonna win though.
Yeah, screw my bracket. I don't even care. I'll light that money on fire. Um, I would love to see the Knicks beat the Celtics. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think the Celtics are just
Celtics
too
are too
good.
good, man.
I have Boston in six. I think the Knicks are going to put up a fight, but all in all, I don't think they got it.
That's it. The Knicks are going to come out and they're going to punch him in the mouth.
They are.
Nick wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks get game one.
Okay.
Boston in six.
Yeah, I like Boston in six. Thunder Nuggets. Game one is Monday, so not a super long turnaround for the Nuggets. Um, Nuggets look good, man. Thunder arrested though. What do you think?
Nuggets in seven.
I got Nuggets in seven too. Uh, yeah, they're so deep. Honestly, their role players are playing good. Uh, they're really deep and they play together. And I think there's something about this new coach that they're playing for me. You know how sometimes it has that effect. You get a new coach, they come in and everything starts working, and it seems to be
Yeah,
working
I,
right
I
now.
still disagree with the move to fire Mike Malone. I think that was backhanded and pussy shit, but
Yeah,
worked right now.
yeah. As of right now, it's working. And they're playing good. I could see them losing the first game just because they're probably smoked. But
Yeah,
truthfully,
they might get killed that first game.
Jokic barely played the second half of this game against the Clippers. So I mean, in theory, he only played 6 games. So
Yeah,
um, yeah, I like Nuggets in seven, and then the potential of T Wolves versus either the Rockets or Warriors. Um,
the Rockets.
the Rockets or Warriors. The Rockets is kind of fitting for like the young Rockets. I'm gonna call them the Rockets. They
I'll
play
tell
a
you
messed
right.
it up.
I'll tell you right now. If they play the Rockets, Wolves in five. If they play the Warriors, Wolves in six.
Yeah, I like that. I think honestly, I could see the Wolves. I think Rockets will be five. I could see the Wolves sweeping the Warriors.
Oh, Steph's not going out in four.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude.
He won't let it happen.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe five then.
Get my boy Scott Foster in there. He's not letting it happen.
Yeah, but it's the playoffs are starting to narrow down, and we're starting to get the shape of it, and um, it's been an overall, I think, good playoff so far. So I'm excited to watch the rest.
Yeah, now and then we're getting into the meat of things now.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so random questions, meat and potatoes. Um, First random question, is it old wives' tale or old wise tale?
It's an old wives' tale.
Yeah, okay. I feel like people say it either or,
If
and
you
I would,
say old wise, Wise, I think the only reason you're saying it that way is because you misheard it one time.
mm, okay. I've always said old wives, Wives.
Well,
Um,
that's what it is. So,
yeah, okay. I was just kind of clarifying.
I mean, we could just Google it, right? We're both sitting at a computer.
Yeah, we could. I'm not much into Google.
Hey, Grok, is this true? See how those
What?
people, you know what Grok is, right?
No.
It's like Twitter's AI.
Oh, interesting.
People will quote under something and say, at Grok, is this true?
Huh.
Yeah. The joke didn't hit. Let's
No, it
kill it.
didn't hit. It didn't.
Let's
It didn't
kill it.
hit.
Let's kill
I'm
it and move
sorry.
on.
Next time I'll get the joke. Okay,
I got
so
okay. Was that
consensus.
it?
Consensus, it's old wives' tale.
Yeah, yeah. I'll stand on that old wives' tale.
All right, I like it.
This one is a question that I heard on a podcast, and I'm not sure if you sent it to me or if someone else sent it to me or if I just saw it.
I
So I'm
feel like I
gonna.
know what question you're gonna ask.
Are you gonna answer it?
I'll answer it, sure.
Okay.
It may or may not be one of my random questions as well, which is kind of funny.
Okay. Um, it's September 10th,
Yeah.
2001, and you can stop the events of the next day from happening if you suck Osama bin Laden to completion. Are you doing it? You're talking about American lives, son.
I know. I know, which is why the question is so crazy. Um, I feel for those people and their families. but I'm not sucking Osama bin off. I'm
I'll
I'm
tell you,
not doing it.
I got caveats.
All right.
He's got to shave because you know that some bitch got a beaver down there.
Oh God.
If he shaves, we can talk.
Now, do you know going into it what's going to happen?
Well, obviously, I'm not just gonna suck a random Middle Eastern dude
Hey, something bad's going to happen if you suck off this random Middle Eastern dude to completion. It's not going to happen. Like in that scenario, not absolutely not. But if you
Yeah, but
know the severity of
if
9/11,
someone goes, this will be the biggest terrorist event in American history since Pearl Harbor, and you can prevent it by sucking one cock to completion. You know, are you a man willing to protect civilians, Trey?
I like to think so.
Then you're sucking his dick, dude.
So if I'm that close and personal, why can't I just end his life right there?
Because he's got a heartbeat monitor, and if his heart rate stops at any time, towers still go down.
You know, I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna kill him right there on spot.
Not an option.
Now, are the towers going down because there's already explosives in the towers?
I'm not into 9/11 conspiracies. Not my it's not my bag. I I will not comment on that. I don't subscribe to conspiracy theories about 9/11.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be another way, and I'm gonna fight to find that other way. And I'm not sucking off Osama bin Laden. But
All
you
I can
never
say,
know. You never know what you do in a situation until you're right there faced with it. Until you're right there.
I'd like to think I'd save those people.
I'd like to think that too. I think I'd save the people. I just think I would find another way to do it.
That's just a hero in me.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Famous wise words from Mike Tyson. Everybody's got
Everybody's
a
got it
plan
until
until
Osama bin
Osama
Laden's
bin
cock
Laden
is in your
stick in
face.
your face.
Yep, I heard that. I would lose so much real estate business if this ever. This guy said he'd suck Osama bin Laden's dick. I'm not letting
I'm
him
not
sell
I'm
my
not
house.
using that guy. I'll probably get fired from my job, lose my security clearance.
Fort Drum, no chance, buddy.
Yeah, no doubt.
You wouldn't suck his dick. You can't work. What are you gonna? You're just gonna let people die
Oh my God.
anyway.
There's another way. I choose violence.
Obviously, violence wasn't the answer. We tried that
Yeah, I think Osama felt the violence.
after like 15 years.
I'm sure something bad happened to him.
15 years and thousand. And you also got to think about the repercussions of 9/11. All the troops that died, Trey.
Yeah, not as many of us died as them.
That's, I'm saying you blow the dude one time, no innocent Americans or soldiers die.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree. You can suck it.
I didn't say I'd suck it. I said I'd save those people.
Sounds like that means,
I'm
just
just playing
just
devil's
deduction.
advocate here.
Yeah, me too. All right, so let's move on from Osama bin Laden. Uh, my next question is, I send you Wordle every single day, and you never send it back to me, and it hurts my feelings, and I want to know right here and now why.
We don't even text anymore.
No, it's just my Wordle message to you every single day.
Whenever you send it to me, I show it to whoever I'm standing next to, and I go, "Look at this fucking guy." I scroll through.
I honestly, as days pass, I wonder why we're friends more and more. To be honest with you. I sent you a message today about what do you want to talk about? What time you want to do it? And you sent me GIF of a trash can with a microphone on it. Nothing,
That's
nothing else.
that's not true.
That's true. Nothing else. And you said 6 o'clock. That's my bad. You said six with no, not talking about what you want to talk about or anything. Just a trash can with a microphone.
All right, let me pull up our text and I'll read it to you since you like to fucking just make shit up.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Pull it up. You have
Okay,
to scroll through the thousand wordles I send you.
here's okay. What time and this is from you and what I want to talk about. Okay, so you already pissed me off with a fucking
It was
uh
autocorrect. All right. It's supposed to be you.
spelling error. So I just said six and I said you answered half. I said playoffs notary class. Then Wordle, which you got in three tries. Nice.
Nice.
Drew wants us to think of best slash funniest moments of our 20s. I said, yeah. You said, what kind of response is that? And I sent you a meme of a guy holding a microphone into a trash can that says anything else, like saying you're trash. And then, yeah, that was it. And then, uh, yeah, and then you emphasized the message 26 fucking times to try and get
Yeah,
me again.
because yeah, we're not even gonna get into that, but whatever, dude. Basically, you're just a terrible friend.
You
That's
don't
what
mean
I'm
that.
gathering from the situation.
I hurt my feet at your brother's wedding, getting
You
down, doing the boogaloo.
that sounds like a wild term.
That does, you know what? I'm gonna Google and make sure that's not like a thinly veiled racist term.
I feel like it has to be. It has to be.
It's a genre of Latin music. So no.
Yeah, whatever you say. It's got to be racist.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my third random question was, would you suck off Osama bin Laden on 9/10 to prevent 9/11 from happening?
I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. You got another random question?
Yep. July 26th. You gonna be able to make it up here?
No.
Damn.
I need some context. I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Oh, no, 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 no. Is it, I mean, I can't just come during the middle of the week.
It's a
Um,
Saturday.
the Saturday, potentially. Uh, I can look
It's
into it.
it's a precursor to an event that's happening in September.
Yes, I get that. The 26th, likely not. September, I may be able to manage getting back there.
Okay.
So July 26th probably going to be tough, just because I'm in this school and I can't really like miss class on Fridays or Mondays. So it would just kind of have to, the stars would have to align essentially for me to get back for that. But September, I think we could probably have some wiggle room and make that happen. I feel like
Cool.
that's the more important one anyway.
Yeah. Um, Real question. Have you started watching Last of Us yet?
No.
You got to get on that.
Yeah, we're a little behind because we were watching Yellowstone um, for the new season, and then Sam wanted to start it all the way over. So we're starting Yellowstone all the way over. We're like almost to the new season right now. Um, so once we finish that, I think we're showless. So I'd be down to try it.
Yeah, it's a good show. I'm also watching this other show that's like an Irish. You like murder mystery shows?
Yeah, not as much as Sam probably does, but yeah.
Yeah, it's called Dublin Murders on Prime. It's pretty good.
Okay, interesting. All right, well that's gonna wrap up random questions. Let's talk some Pat's Peeves. You got any?
Yeah, I got one, and it's not a serious one, but
All right,
it's
well let me
when
let me go first because I have three.
okay. Okay.
All right. So Pat's peeve is when people talk to you at the gym when you got your headphones in. Little background. I'm at the gym, I'm working out, I'm in my PTs. I'm wearing one of my old units PT shirts. Um, I'm in the middle of a set. Dude walks up to me and is like pointing at my earphone to like take it out. And okay, I'm like, all right, set my stuff down. I'm like, what's up? And he just pretty nice guy, just recognized my shirt, stopped to ask me about it. Cool, whatever. He interrupted my set, but I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. We had like a little conversation, all was well, went back to my thing, and then 20 minutes later he stops me again in the middle of another set and continue talking about that duty station. And I'm just like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Big dude.
He's fat.
You don't have a good track record of being able to beat up fat dudes, though.
Look, fat is not a protective category. I can say you're fat all I want to. Um, but
That has nothing to do with the statement that I
that's
said.
that's not what I thought you were gonna say. So I already had that in my head. But I
So
mean, he was like a bigger guy. He's probably 6 foot, probably 250 pounds.
he's
Um,
beating the fuck out of you
I disagree.
repeatedly. He's
I
bouncing your head
disagree.
off the floor like a basketball. Anyway,
No, no, I don't think so. Also, let's talk about a scenario. There's not a scenario in the world where you bounce my head off the floor like a basketball.
I didn't say me. I said that guy.
That dude's basically you, probably just stronger and in better shape.
Then he's definitely doing it. You're making the case worse.
But yeah, Pat's peeve. People interrupting your sets at the gym when you have headphones in.
Yeah, one time would be okay. I think like the if but
Right.
not during a set, like it catches you at the water fountain or something.
Yeah, or at least like when I'm sitting there with my weights down and I'm obviously like waiting for my next set to start, sure, come up to me. But like in the middle of a set and twice,
Once you can get away with, twice is a little much.
yeah, the second time I just gave him a one of those with the eyes and was just like, hold on and finished my set, didn't put my stuff down, and then was like, "Well." So he just sat there like awkwardly standing next to me while I finished my set.
Oof. That kind of that gives me the ick, dude.
Yeah, it was super icky. Yeah, it wasn't cool. I
I
was
kind of
hoping he
feel
was just gonna
bad
go
for him.
away. Yeah, but like just read the room. Nice
God.
guy, had a mean stutter.
Oh, now I really feel bad for him.
Yeah,
But still,
and he was fat.
I don't feel bad about that though. Like because I know you do it to yourself. Like I don't feel bad for fat people like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, that's Pat Peeves.
you want to do your second one? Because mine's not
Sure.
anything.
So I have a friend staying with me right now while she gets her like house set up and all her stuff in her house. So she's hanging out with me and Sam for a while. She was just in Hawaii and we were at a pizza place. Me, her, and Sam went out to dinner and we got pizza. And they had a Hawaiian pizza on the menu. Obviously, like typical Hawaiian pizza has the pineapples and stuff on it. And I asked her, I was like, do they actually eat pineapple on their pizza in Hawaii? And she said, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I wonder why that. Well, is ham and pineapple a thing? That's Hawaiian.
She said like pineapples and she said they don't even eat pizza over there. Pizza is not a thing.
Well, she's just one person saying that.
That's true, but she did live there for 2.5 years. So
Well,
I
then,
don't
yeah.
know.
Um, I did just say she's one person, and I've never even fucking come close to Hawaii, so I don't know why I just discounted her. This said, this says, uh, the person who created the Hawaiian pizza was a Greek immigrant who moved to Canada, which explains the Canadian ham.
Mm.
But I don't
So why
understand.
they call it Hawaiian pizza, I don't know.
Huh.
But yeah, so I think it's a new Pat's peeve of mine is people is like the Hawaiian pizza not being Hawaiian.
It's name. It's not named after the state of Hawaii. It's named after the brand of canned pineapple they were using at the time.
Interesting.
Hmm. It's Canadian cuisine.
Yeah, that checks out. Leave it to fucking Canadians.
Wild.
Wild. Okay.
But
Go
we
your
actually
Pats
learned
peeves, and
something.
I got one more after you.
My Pat's peeve is when somebody will say, "This is the best blank I've ever had," or potential best blank, and they throw it around loosely.
Mm,
Um, because someone told me that this was potentially the best donut they ever had, like glazed donut better than Brits.
hmm
And I went and tried it, and it was very good.
hmm
But it wasn't better than Brits. I mean, it's pretty much a different style too. It's more of like
Yeah.
a donut. It was very good though. But I just, we do that too often as a society.
Yeah.
I think.
Throw around this is the best or this is the best I've ever had. Yeah, I feel that. Brits is you gotta have like a taste for Brits donuts because some people might not like that style.
Yeah, and that's definitely like this donut, the actual dough is completely different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. More
It's
cakey.
almost hard to compare them.
I feel that. Okay. Pat's peeve, throwing around this is the best when it's not always the best. Okay. Um, Last Pat's peeve is people taking diabolical shits in the locker room during peak shower hours.
Mm.
It was bad, dude. I was in there like after the gym trying to shower and change into my like work uniform. And it was god awful. It was really bad. And the I don't really have any beef with people taking shits in locker rooms because like there's a bathroom, you got to use it. However, this gym specifically has just a bathroom. So like there's the locker room that does have toilets in it, but there's also just a bathroom with no lockers, no showers. So they went in the locker room and blew it up while we're in there, like probably just ingesting these shit particles and
Yeah, that's
showering.
gross.
It was terrible.
I'm trying to think the last like locker room shower I used. Probably at UNCW.
Yeah, I don't love it. Like it's not fun. Nobody likes showering in a locker room, but I'm not gonna just sit in my sweaty filth all day.
It might actually the latest one might be the rec. Like I went to do a workout and then had a showing and
Yeah. In my last job, I had a shower in my office, so it was no thing. I would just work out at the gym and then drive back to my office, shower in my office, and change. It was nice, but now I don't have that luxury.
do you have an office at this place? Oh, well, you're at
No,
school.
I'm literally just like a student. So it's kind of a weird change of pace a little bit.
And how long are you here for?
The school is 6 months, so I graduate October 17th. Um, but I probably won't get orders to the next unit till like right before Christmas. So after I graduate in October, I'll probably just be chilling until I move.
Like no, like you won't do anything at this base
No.
and you'll still be getting paid.
Yeah.
What a crock of shit.
I know that that baffles you a little bit, but yes, I'll have probably a month till November 17th, and then it'll probably be like 2 or 3 more weeks. So like almost 2 months where I'm just kind of existing.
Yeah, well, at least it's you and not somebody I don't know.
Well, there's, probably 60 other people in the same situation. So, and you don't know those people.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
All right. Well, I got a closing comment, and this is just for the listeners. And I just want to let everybody know that um, Tyler used the kid's urinal to kick the handle.
No, I didn't. No, I did not. I absolutely did not. And Wes will verify that.
He went
You're
up to
just
the
you're just mad it was so fucking easy.
one of two things happened. Either Wes was supporting you from the back and he was holding you up,
See,
or
you're
you went over
you're
to
part
the
of what's wrong with this fucking country. They see something with their eyes and then they go, not possible. Couldn't possibly be that. You're allergic to the truth, boy. That I'm flexible as fuck.
oh God, you couldn't touch your toes right now if the world depended on it. If it was 9:10 and I told you you had to stand up, lock your knees out, and touch your toes, and 9/11 wouldn't happen, then you would choose to suck off Osama bin Laden.
Here, can you see? You
Yeah, I can
see me
see it.
touching my nose?
I don't see it. Your knees are bent.
My knees are
There's like
not
a
bent.
there's like a 45-degree bend in your ankle. And I didn't do well in geometry.
You know what? Fuck you. That's my
All right.
closing comment.
Appreciate that. Uh, you know, just good stuff. Way to send it off. Can't wait to send you uh, Wordle every single day next week and have you not respond or even acknowledge the fact that I sent it.
I hope you have to go to Fort Bliss.
Oh God, don't put that in the fucking atmosphere.
I actually don't because Sammy's with you.
That's fair. And you're gonna have to come visit. So
Oh yeah, 4 years in Texas. Boo.
yeah. All right. Well, with that, I think that closes out episode 80.
All right.
All right. Adios.
Bye.